Hi everyone, I'm John C. Morley, the host of the JMOR Tech Talk Show and Inspirations for Your Life. Hey guys, it is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur, and welcome to the JMOR Tech Talk Show. I'm so glad that you decided to pop in and join me for another fantastic, fabulous episode of technology and the marvels of where things are going in our society. All right, guys, so welcome, whether you're here live or whether you're watching us on a replay. I'm just so grateful that you are with me. Please be sure to scan that QR code and check out BelieveMeAchieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations that you're not going to want to miss. All right, guys, let's get right into the show, shall we? All right. So this is the show. The title for tonight's topic is Revolutionizing Tech, Insights into Cutting-Edge Innovations. We're on Series 3, which means we're in the third year, and we're on show number 19. How about that? All right, our first topic for the week is exploring the cutting-edge anti-deer collision automotive night vision. Now, how many of you out there have ever been told, watch for deer, right? Well, actually, there is a truth to that because a lot of people hit deer when they're on the road. So a company recently came up with something. It's called InfiRay, InfiRay T2 Pro. And so, the hardest thing is to sometimes avoid animals. And so what's really cool about this is that it can detect animals very easily by using infrared technology, and you have a little dash cam that gets mounted in your car or your vehicle, and hopefully it prevents you from actually hitting a deer. And so, the thing is, when we think about, this technology and we think about, what it's doing, the fact is, have you ever heard of somebody hit a deer? So basically, it's called anti-deer collision technology, and so it's pretty amazing because a little bit of of how it works. I think that's probably the best way to describe this is that it's anti-deer collision technology, and basically it's automotive night vision. Again, it's called InfiRay. And InfiRay has been a real marvel of 2024. Amazing how, this technology works and how it can help you stay clear of deer. Yeah, this, ladies and gentlemen, is big. I think it's something that a lot of people don't realize, but people hit deer every single day in their life. So it's the InfiRay, and it's basically a 650-foot long-range night vision, and it's a dash cam that basically gets mounted, like I said, to your vehicle. And it's amazing because what it's able to do is show you people. It's able to show you deer, but it lets you see things at night that maybe you couldn't see. 60% of traffic accidents often occur at night. Due to insufficient lighting, poor road conditions, and of course, limited visibility. And so wouldn't it be great if you had something that could actually give you the edge? So when the weather's not great, that's no excuse for hitting someone. The InfiRay NV2 is an AI night vision system that provides an extended night vision of up to 200 meters. So if we convert, because they always do everything in meters, so 200 meters to US feet, actually translates, ladies and gentlemen, if we were to convert that, 656 feet roughly. And so, visible light, you get high beam, you get smog, you get darkness. With the NV2, you're able to see the objects in almost like what almost looks like a thermal image. I mean, you can see that it's like they look like an image of like different colors. So like people have a certain like yellow, orange image. You can see other cars that are kind of in a certain image. And I think this is just really cool. So you can see farther and you can see clearer. So again, it is a dash cam that mounts in your vehicle. Visual and audio intelligent collision warning. The NV2 is not that expensive. It's less than $600. It's like $599. And other without collision warning has a $3,200 starting price. So there are 3 tiers of AI collision, in case you guys are wondering. The first is not hitting a person. The second is not hitting another vehicle. And the third, obviously, is not hitting a deer. So very, very simple. Basically, this technology pretty much fastens right to your license plate frame. There's a cable, and there's a thermal camera, and then there's the MV2 host system, and the power supply is able to use a standard, cigarette lighter unit in the car. So display unit is inside. There is a NV2 car camera that's on the front of your car, and then it connects with the socket of the NV2 very easy and very simply. So it can go on a truck, it can go on a bigger truck, an RV, cars, bus, and even Jeeps. So if you're still wondering, is this something for me? I think the question is, have you ever had a situation where, you were afraid about, hitting something, hitting someone like a pedestrian? And we all know that there is bad conditions on the road. I mean, I think that's the name of the game. So with anti-collision pre-warning technology, a prompt warning upon detection of 0.1 seconds, and ultra remote night vision. That is just so cool. The MV2 is designed to assist in safeguarding your safety so that you don't hit pedestrians, you don't hit cars, you don't hit deer around the clock, not just when the sun's out, not just when the weather's great. So I really want to give a big JMOR Tech Talk kudos to the people that have designed this at InfiRay. For more information on InfiRay, you can just go to infiray.com. Now, I normally do not give out vendors' websites or tell you to look at a product, but this is about your safety, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is really cool. They even have cams that you can use for walking, let's say at night, like in the forest and things like that. And they have these different thermal cams. So I think this is really, really cool. And InfiRay is really starting to change the world by their technology and by their, I'm going to say, use of AI. So other things they've done with development of security monitoring technology, they've been becoming a leader in the field with their breakthrough technology in thermal imaging to represent innovations in existing security systems. Things that we couldn't see with the naked eye, thereby opening a new window to observe the world and analyzing the fact that sometimes what we don't see can hurt us. Visible light can be distorting, but thermal imaging has a much clearer depiction of what's going on. And the thing about thermal imaging is it's reliable and it works in all kinds of weather conditions. So definitely check that out, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to check that out as well. And our next topic for tonight is something I think that's really cool. Discovering about mobile devices and network service providers. They're enhancing the video with a new user experience called VVC. So what the heck, what is VVC in video? So VVC is actually a term, and it stands for versatile video coding. Versatile video coding, which you may or may not be familiar with, is something that has been around for a little while. It's also known as the H.266 ISO IEC 23090-3 and MPEG-1 Part 3. It's a video compression standard. And it was finalized on July 6, 2020. But now more people are working on ways to use this technology because they want to enhance the user's experience. That's right. The users enhance the user's experience when they are watching video. All right. So, VVC streaming is where we're going. And as the name suggests, it's going to change video. So video encoding is the process of converting raw video footage into digital format. That's really all it is. And the encoding process requires the use of encoders, which come in the form of both hardware and software. So while hardware coders are fast and reliable, they're also bulky and very expensive. And you might have heard of codecs. So they're basically decompressors. Maybe you've downloaded a video and it says you don't have the right codec, and you have to go download it from Microsoft or wherever else. So VVC, versatile video coding, is a new and evolving video compression standard, even though it was ratified back a while back, known as the H.266. It was developed by the Joint Video Expert Team, JVET, at International Telecommunications Union, and this was around 2020. And VVC is predicted to be the future of video streaming, and in particular video conferencing, because we all know that using this technology does actually make lives better, because as we're streaming more data, okay, what's happening is there are more things that can go wrong, the more amount of bandwidth that we require. So what's the advantages of using VVC? Well, a big benefit of it is that it's more capable and efficient data compression, so it's going to be more efficient than other tools that are out there. It's versatile, and it's able to cater to video needs from low resolution and low bits all the way up to high resolution, of course, high bit rates. And something that most codecs are not able to address or even come close to. Industry leaders have predicted that VVC's usefulness in the online gaming industry will majorly take off. So VVC is interesting because they call it lossless or lossy compression, both reducing file size, but only difference between former kind of compression yields is more compact files than they were before. VVC uses lossy compression and makes it ideal for video streaming. So VVC licensing is what's coming next. And it'll be a third-party media coding industry forum. They'll create profiles and levels based upon licensing terms and proposed by each IP owner to order of making the VVC royalty-bearing, and giving us the ability to be a multiple-part set of patent pools. And the pool pricing could determine which encoding tools are included in which profile, yada, 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 yada. So VVC is not yet standardized enough, even though the initial standard was released. And it is still not compatible with major live streaming platforms and other technology at this time. However, they're working on it. And it has a lot of potential by virtue of which industry-leading people are betting on VVC to kind of take us into the new let's say the new century. And, I think a lot of people get concerned about VVC. Where is VVC going? And I think when we think about where is VVC going, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I may have to throw up my camera. Like what's going to happen? Like, where is VVC going and video? It's versatile. We don't know a lot about its cost yet. But one thing is that it's going to basically be a technology that has a lot less overhead and is going to give us a better compression, in fact, better than anything else that we have right now. And because it's lossy, it's not going to lose any part of the data, which is something that happens when you stream some data. So another innovation that recently took place, which I think you guys you're gonna find definitely pretty interesting, is there's a company, ladies and gentlemen. This company I think is pretty amazing. Joining the Quarter Coffee Club, as they're now unveiling their innovative digital coffee passport program. So what is the Coffee Quarter Passport Club? Well, the Coffee Passport program, it launched, again, not too long ago. It was actually a little while back. And the thing about this is that the Quarter Coffee Club, it's supposedly this groundbreaking initiative aimed at connecting coffee lovers with independent coffee shops to announce official, let's say, products that they have, new services. And it's designed to get them to stop in their shop to taste their coffee, to take advantage of perks and other types of things they might have along their caffeinated ventures. So what is the benefit of the Coffee Passport program? Well, free coffee and, of course, more. Support for independent coffee shops. So they'll collaborate with the local shops to create win-win situations or opportunities that'll get people into their door. Once they get into their door and once they taste the delicious coffee, well, they're probably going to be hooked. The coffee club costs just about $5 a month, so it's not really that expensive. The vision of Coffee Corridor is actually the brainchild of the Cherokee County resident Army veteran Gerald Griffith. And he was born out of a desire to celebrate coffee culture while supporting local business. Now, he also noticed the growth interest among coffee drinkers to explore unique experiences beyond the usual chain stores. And his vision is to create a vibrant coffee community where everyone seems to benefit. So initial locations, the program kicks off with 8 carefully selected coffee shops, each offering a distinct flavor and ambiance. As the program gains more momentum, additional locations will be added with the goal of featuring 50 to 60 coffee shops across the greater Atlanta area in the coming months. Now, so it's not quite around the United States yet, but they're hoping it will be. There's no cost to merchants. This is what's really cool. Participating coffee shops will incur no fees to be part of the program, and the commitment to affordability aligns with the corridor's coffee mission to level the playing field for independent businesses. I guess they're trying to compete with big coffee shops like, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, people that have baristas on staff that are making coffee, really high end. They're trying to go after the small coffee shop that really just gets lost in the loop. Membership just starts, as I said, about $500 a month. So it's $5 a month. So 5 times 12, $60 a year. And enthusiasts of coffee can unlock a world of coffee adventures. The program success, they claim, wouldn't be possible without generous support of key partners like Hatchbridge Incubator, Kennesaw State University, Fresh Start Cherokee Launchpad, Cherokee's Office of Development, and the Institute for Military Veterans and Families. Of course, Syracuse University has also played pivotal roles in bringing this initiative to life. So the question is, if you're in Atlanta, why don't you try Coffee Corridor? And let me know what you think. I think it's going to be interesting to get your perspective of this. And let me know, how does it work? What do you think about, Coffee Corridor? And is it something that's going to spread? I like it when people have these ideas. So their website is pretty easy, but it was just rolled out recently. It's Corridor Coffee Club. That's CORRIDOR Coffee, COFFEE CLUB.com. And again, they're just kicking off the ground. So there's a lot that they're working on, and I definitely give them credit for all the stuff they're doing. They even have a Facebook page now. And they're trying. They're really trying to get there. They even have a little cool, let's say, cup that has a logo, TCC, the Coffee Corridor. So I think this is going to be interesting. I think it's going to be an interesting brand. I think a lot of people are going to be, let's say, hopefully happy and delighted with it. The fact that you only have to pay $60 a year, the question is, do you get the value of $60? See, I don't know the answer to that. So I don't live in the area. And I hope that some of you guys will share with me, or maybe you'd like to be a guest on JMOR Tech Talk in the future. And let me know what you think about the Coffee Corridor mission. So if you guys are following this, I think it's pretty cool. Sony and Apollo are now enter talks to acquire Paramount, shaping the future of entertainment. So you might be asking yourself, so why does Sony and Apollo want to buy Paramount? We've known Paramount for a very long time, and they've been a very big picture company. The question is, they're offering to buy them for $26 billion. So they express interest on wanting to buy it. And it's interesting to me, but they are basically, I think, trying to get something. We don't exactly know what yet, but why does Sony Apollo want to buy Paramount so badly? I don't know. There could be some type of thing going on that they're concerned about. I don't know. But if Sony Apollo Global win the fight to buy the media company, they plan to keep the studio business and sell everything else. Ooh, 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 ooh. I don't know if I like that, guys. One thing when a company buys another company, if they change the way it does business, that could be a problem. So Sony Pictures' $26 billion cash bid with Apollo for Paramount Global is the highest offer on the table at the moment, but it comes with a range of regulatory hurdles the two duos have to go through. So Sony would be the primary holder, and Apollo would be the secondary holder. And so the Sony Apollo road to full clearance for any kind of agreement could potentially weigh on the offer, and either can push Paramount back into the arms of Skydance Media or down another path. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I don't know about that. So Paramount, the owner of CBS, if you guys didn't know this, Nickelodeon, MTV, Comedy Central, and its namesake movie studio, is up for sale. Shari Redstone, who runs National Amusements, the holding company that controls Paramount, has just ended the exclusive deal talks with Skydance, and Sony Apollos are swooping in with its offer. Though talks with Skydance are expected to continue. Redstone has made it clear that she prefers the Skydance camp over Sony Apollo, and thanks in part because it's expected to keep Paramount intact. So I like that feature too. I don't like the idea that Sony and Apollo are going to just break everything down. So Skydance Media, in case you guys are wondering, it has nothing to do with the TikTok people, so don't worry about that. Skydance Media is actually an American company, so you don't have to worry about that. A little bit about Skydance Media, in case you guys are wondering. They were founded in 2020 with David Ellison, an ambitious visionary, to establish a diversified media company to create high-quality content and engaging experiences for a global audience. Skydance's independence, versatility, and multi-platform approach has propelled the company's growth in live action features, television, animation, interactive, and new media. Today, more than 500 colleagues across 2 continents share David's vision and together have expanded Skydance's portfolio, creating a world-class studio on the forefront of where entertainment is heading. So as much as I like Sony and as much as Apollo could be interesting, I'm concerned. So you might say, who is Apollo in media? So Apollo, people would say, what did Apollo produce in movies? Because that's probably the biggest question that you guys all have is, so Apollo is a smaller company. Obviously, we know that. But who is Apollo that is buying with Sony for Paramount? And I think the biggest thing I would say to you is that they're a smaller company, and the fact that they want to break up Sony. See, if that was me and I was selling it, I would not want to sell to them because, to me, keeping the company intact is very important. Preserving that structure. That's like if somebody said to me, "Hey, Disney's up for sale," and somebody buys and said, "Hey, we're going to keep all the TV stuff, but we're gonna sell off the theme parks to the highest bidder." See, that would kind of put me in a bad spot. I wouldn't like that. And there's a new rule, ladies and gentlemen, learning about the new rule requiring AEB, or automatic emergency braking, at speeds of 90 miles per hour or more. Yes. So basically, what is this saying? That they're able to require AEB to brake at speeds up to 90 miles per hour. So why the new 90 AEB rule, you're probably saying? Well, it's the NHTSA, and that is the National Highway Transportation and Safety, I believe, administration. And starting in 2029, vehicle manufacturers must make automatic emergency braking, which reduces vehicle and pedestrian crashes, standard in cars and light trucks, making the safety feature standard rather than a luxury part of the department's national roadway safety strategy to address the crisis of deaths on the road. Now, I've had a vehicle, I've been very fortunate for many years, my last two vehicles had AEB on it. The vehicle before that, it wasn't there. Then they had kind of like a warning about it. Then the one before that had an option where I could purchase it so it would automatically brake. And what happens is the car will literally brake if it senses it's going to hit something. Now, oftentimes it will brake, but there's no danger. It just kind of jumps in. The NHTSA projects that this new standard of the FMVSS number 127 will save, you ready, 360 lives a year. And if we could do something to just save one life a year, it's worth it, right? And prevent at least 24,000 injuries annually. That's huge. So AEB uses sensors to detect when a vehicle is close and imminent to a crash, to either a vehicle or a pedestrian in front, and automatically applies the brakes if the driver has not. So what happens is while you're driving, it senses it, and all of a sudden you will see braking on your dashboard, and the brake pedal will be applied. And this is going to be pretty cool. The new vehicle safety standard is going to be pretty amazing. And the thing is, the new standard requires all cars to be able to stop and avoid contact with a vehicle in front of them up to 62 miles per hour. And the system must detect pedestrians in both daylight and darkness. So they're saying 62, but the government is saying they want it to be basically they want this to be a little bit more. Okay, I think AEB 90 miles per hour right now is what that's what they want right now. 62 miles per hour, the system must detect. The standard requires the system apply the brakes automatically up to 90 miles per hour. So again, to basically be able to stop in front of them up to 62 miles per hour, and that the system must detect pedestrians in both daylight, and in addition, the standard requires the system apply brakes automatically up 90 miles per hour. So this is very interesting. And I think anything that we have the potential of being part of that can actually be a positive key to our safety is something we should all be enforce. So again, I think it's great that they're going to make this standard. I even think things like BSD, and you're going to ask me an interesting question, which I'm going to say, will BSD be standard on all cars? So it's called blind. You might know it's called blind sight detection. And so right now it's not. But the question is, when will blind sight detection, which is what it's called, blind sight detection, be standard on all vehicles? And it's not standard yet. SUV and truck buyers may pay thousands more for life-saving features, according to the CR studies. The challenge is they're not making it mandatory, but I think we're going to see that. If they're going to make this standard, I think it's only a matter of time before we start having that be standard. And I even see something whereby if you try to leave a lane, that the car won't let you. Interesting, right? Blind spot monitoring is something that has really changed the way people drive. Now, I've had BSD on several of my cars, and just, being there, and even you're waiting for that beep. When you hear that beep or you see that light and you hear it, you're like, oh, there's a car there, right? It's like then you wait for that car to pass. So I think it's a great thing when we have more than just a visual, let's say, notification. We have an audible. So I think that's really cool. And ladies and gentlemen, Google's decision to shut down developer access to Google Fit APIs is raising concerns. So you might be asking me, why is Google shutting down the Fit API? So Google is shutting it down in 2025, and it might break fitness devices that you already have. Sorry about that. So Google's killing off the Google Fit API. The platform originally existed to sync health data from third-party fitness devices to your Google account, but now it's being killed off. And depreciation of the API happened on May 1st, and Google has stopped accepting new signups to the API, and the shutdown date, ladies and gentlemen, is June 30th, 2025. So the Google Fit API was launched in 2014, just a few weeks after Apple announced HealthKit in iOS 8. And the goal of both platforms was to be a central repository for health data. So my guess, if I had to say to you, it's not about money. It's about the money they could lose, because I think it is coming down to something very similar to what happened with Amazon. We all know how there was that $5.6 billion lawsuit that happened, right? And I think the interesting thing about that is that it was handled very haphazardly. And if people would realize that we have a choice, I know, ladies and gentlemen, that you're probably saying, this is crazy, it's nuts. But you see, the thing is, when people work on technology, right? Like it was the Ring doorbell. Then it got purchased by Amazon. And Amazon, as much as you may like them, they are rough. They may do some things great, but they might do, let's say, 100 things right, but then they do one or two things wrong. But the one or two things wrong they do kind of will kill them. Very similar to like what Facebook does. Remember what happened with the kids, right? And how all those challenges went through. I think that was a complete disaster. I mean, a real complete disaster. But, they just look at it as it's a cost of doing business. I feel that when it has an issue to affect someone's life, we got a serious problem on our hands. And a lot of people want to push this under a rock or shove it under a rug because they feel it's not something that is going to be detrimental to many people, right? So I feel that if something harms or hurts just one person in this world, we need to address it. Now, a lot of companies don't feel that we should address something unless, ladies and gentlemen, you know what that is? Unless people speak up. So if something's not the way you expect it, I think you need to write letters. You need to tell your Congress people. You need to tell the media because, no one knows what's going on unless you say something, right? You see something, say something. We've seen that in New York many times. All right, so I want to let you know that not just with Google, I think the real reason they're shutting it down is so they don't go through, let's say, a revisit of what happened with the $5.6 billion lawsuit with Amazon for basically having access to illegal data where they shouldn't have access to that data. It was people's private data, and they weren't keeping it private. So I think that was a huge problem for everyone. So I think the real reason Google's shutting it down is so they don't get caught with their pants down. I think that's the real reason. But Google won't tell us that. You know that. All right, guys. Here is an interesting story that I want to reveal with you. So there is a lady that gets stuck in her Tesla at a Chick-fil-A. So basically, they say if you disobey Tesla at your own risk, you could be in trouble and you could damage the car. So it was over 150 degrees. So Tesla tries to, notify its drivers with all sorts of cues and clues about how to use technology and things. But so the lady was basically at Chick-fil-A, and she ordered. in the parking lot there, and she basically pulled out. And the interesting thing that happened is her name was Brianna Janelle. She's a TikToker, and she was supposed to install software for, it was the 2024.3.10, which was estimated to take about 24 minutes, but it ended up taking around 40. Because she was petrified of damaging her precious car, she decided not to use the manual exit and wait out the process. She had to stay in her car with now 100 degrees. And she, quote unquote, says, "I'm slightly freaking out." She says, I quote, "I hope I don't run out of air," close quote. So this just happened about a month ago. And she also says, "I can't open the doors or the windows, otherwise I could potentially damage my car. So I'm just stuck in here roasting like a freaking chicken dripping wet," close quote. So I get that you want to protect your car, but isn't your life more important? So she advised viewers to not make the same mistake she did. By the way, her Chick-fil-A order had been done for 30 minutes and literally sitting outside, It's interesting how all this went down. The interior temperature had reached as high as 115 degrees, she added. And she got out of her car finally safely, sweating, and, quote, said, "The AC has never felt so good, and I've never felt better. I feel like I just took a bath," close quote. So Tesla, unfortunately, doesn't seem to care about its drivers. And of course, when you reach out to Tesla, they say, "Oh, this is a minor abnormality." Yeah, like the one that happened about a year or two ago, which is what turned me away from Tesla, not ever wanting one, because one of my best friends knew somebody that nearly had to break open the window with his elbow, get out of the car because he couldn't get out, all because his entertainment system was overheating. That was a whole other issue. So I have a problem with that car, and I feel it's like 10 or 15 years out too early. It should be in beta testing, and it should not be approved for general drivers. All right, guys. I also think that when something like that would happen, like a software update, it probably should say something like, "Hey, we're about to do a software update. It's going to take 24 minutes. I suggest exiting the, I'm going to go ahead and open the door for you, and then go ahead and hit OK. I just want to make sure you're OK, and that you're not stuck in the car," or something like that. That's what should have happened, and the car should have been able to handle that. But I don't know. I'm not too impressed with the software engineers at Tesla, just being honest. And ladies and gentlemen, French cyber warriors are preparing to defend against hackers and malware during the Olympics. Yes. So, yes, cyber hackers are planning to test the Paris Olympics security. And, I think it's interesting to hear what's going on and this whole condition. Just like the Olympics athletes, the cyber warriors are being crucial for knowing the success of the Paris Games, because just like they're deep in training for the big event, so are the athletes. And so they've turned to friendly hackers to probe their cyber defenses, like boxers who use sparring partners to ready them for a championship fight. So they've studied and analyzed strengths, tactics, and weaknesses of their opponents, and those could be anyone from teenage show-offs and ransomware gangs to Russian military hackers with a track record of, being part of malicious cyber attacks. So unlike the 10,500 Olympians who are going to converge on France's capital in July, the cybersecurity engineers behind the games are hoping to stay out of the spotlight. For them, the equivalent of a medal will be getting through the Olympics and Paralympics without much remembrance. In fact, I think there was an interesting statement that was recently made by the gentleman who actually is head of security over there. His name is Jeremy Coutier. He heads the Paris Game Organization of Cybersecurity, and he says, quote unquote, "Cyber threats are so sensitive and critical for the game's success," close quote. So I think it's great, and definitely a hats off to the people running the Cyber Olympics. I should say that keeping the Olympics safe and keeping cyber, I should say, out of it. So, like they said, if it's not a discussion, then they know it was a good thing. All right, guys, moving on. Senators are getting very concerned with the amount of facial recognition, and they want to limit in airports. So you might be saying, so why do senators want to limit face ID in airports? Well, here's the reason. The big issue is it's a problem. The TSA uses CAT2 technology to verify a traveler matches their physical ID before they enter physical security screenings at some airports. And according to the TSA, the biometric data is not used for surveillance or law enforcement. Under the proposed bill, called the Traveler Privacy Protection Act of 2023, the TSA would be required to end its pilot facial recognition program and would need congressional authorization to use the technology, according to a press release from the candidate's office. Now, the TSA would also be immediately banned from expanding its facial recognition program and would be required to delete facial biometric information, including images and videos obtained through the technology. Now, the Kennedys said the act would protect every American from Big Brother's intrusion by ending the facial recognition program. And Merkley called the program, quote unquote, a precursor to a full-blown national surveillance state. Senator Roger Marshall, a Republican of Kansas, and also Elizabeth Warren, Democrat from Massachusetts, and Edward Markey, a Democrat from Massachusetts, and Bernie Sanders, an independent from Vermont, are co-sponsoring the bill. Of course, the TSA has declined to comment. So I think it's good what they're doing. I feel that the government does things for their benefit, but they don't realize the risks that they put the American people at, because frankly, they just don't care. That's really the biggest thing I want to tell you. I think that's a big problem. I know it's a big issue, and I know you're probably concerned too. And I know you're probably saying, "What's happening?" I know, ladies and gentlemen, that the government, it's all about money. We know that. And unfortunately, they claim that everything's about our security. They claim that everything's about, safety. But when safety gets into impeding our health, like I've talked about the milliwave technology, I'm not going to go off on a tangent on that, but I've said to you for years, I won't go through that technology. I will get a manual pat down every time. I know it's an inconvenience, but I at least like the idea of preserving my body and its health. So that's an important thing. And I even said in a show a while back that I talked to one of the companies, and when the company lost the bid, well, let's just say they opened up like a canary, and even shared a study with me that happened in, I believe it was a part of New Mexico. And we found out that a lot of travelers had their ZNA unzipped, who went through that technology. So I think that is a big problem. And ladies and gentlemen, the collapse of the affordable internet could disproportionately affect Native communities. Now, you might be saying, why is there going to be a collapse of affordable internet? And I think the biggest reason is resources. So the federal benefit that provided discounts on high-speed internet has gone away. So that's a big, big reason. And this is affecting a lot of countries and things like that. So we saw that New York has the 360 rule, and they did figure out a way to bring it back in New York, but it hasn't been brought back in New Jersey and many other states. And a lot of these small countries that are native are going to become cut off because they have no way to afford this technology. There's no more grants, there's no more bills, there's no more money. And once we cut them off the technology, I feel that could impact things like their health because they don't have access to certain information. It might affect security. and it might affect other things in their lives, all because we take for granted that technology can actually make our lives better. And it can, but when we rely on it and we suddenly can't use it, well, that could be a real big bummer. All right, guys, how many of you are familiar with the application called Bumble? Well, it's rare that we talk about a dating application. Well, Bumble shakes up the dating scene by removing the requirement for basically for women to make the first move. Did you know that? Yes. So Bumble now allows the man to make the first move. However, I should let you know that there is a caveat to that. What do you mean? Well, 10 years after creating the new model for dating apps with its women making the first move, Bumble now opens the doors to men starting conversations on its platform. So they roll out this new feature called Opening Moves, and it will let female users set a prompt to which male suitors can respond to initiate a conversation. The feature reverses a long-standing requirement by the app that women send the first message to their matches, which Bumble said gave women more power over the dating life. The new feature is part of a larger relaunch of the app announced for the new features coming out. And so the women can actually choose whether they want to be contacted by a man. Now, of course, this is assumed that you're doing a man and a lady. It could be a lady and a lady. It could be a man and a man. I mean, we have to be politically correct, right? Because the bottom line today, I was talking to somebody, love is love. So it shouldn't matter who you date, what your orientation is, who you find attractive. I always say it's all about how you treat each other, right? And the most important thing I want to share here is that there are so many people now that are basically getting hurt, that are even losing their lives, all because people, you probably remember the Matt Act. I think it was Matt had gotten, Matt got killed at the stake many, many years ago. His name was Matthew Shepard. And it's 25 years after Matthew Shepard's death. LGBTQ activists say equal rights progress is at risk. And Shepard's 1998 murder has been memorialized as an egregious hate crime that helped fuel the gay rights movement over the ensuing years. And it's just terrible. He was a gay 21-year-old university student of Wyoming. He died 6 days after he was savagely beaten by two young men and tied to a remote fence to meet his fate. His death had been memorialized as an egregious hate crime, again, that fueled the LGBT rights movement over the ensuing years. So there was one positive thing. And from the perspective of the movement's activists, some of them on the front line since 1960s, progress was often agonizingly slow, but it was steady. Vermont allowed same-sex civil unions in 2000, and a Texas law criminalizing consensual gay sex was struck down in 2003. In 2011, the military scrapped the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy that kept gay, lesbian, and bisexual service members in the closet. And in 2015, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that same-sex marriages were legal. But any perception back then of the long life struggle for equality had been a challenge over the years. So the question you'll ask me is, can you be gay to be in the military? So the United States military formerly excluded gay men, bisexual, and lesbians from service. In 1993, the United States Congress passed, and President Bill Clinton signed a law instituting the policy commonly referred to as Don't Ask, Don't Tell, which allowed gay, lesbian, and bisexual people to serve as long as they did not reveal their sexual orientation. This was a challenge, right? A big, big challenge. In 2011, there was another change. Openly gay, lesbian, and bisexual men and women have been permitted now to serve in the military. Acceptance of the LGBTQ in the military expanded with the lifting of the transgender ban in 2021. And still, some LGBTQ service members worry about living openly. They fear that being the life that they're part of, it will be harassed in the future or passed over for assignment or promotions, while acceptance of the LGBTQ service members is relatively a new development in the military's long standard. The Department of Defense is committed to maintaining a strong force that reflects the nation's diversity. So I think the most important thing, ladies and gentlemen, is that we are making progress in all different ways, regardless of what your beliefs are. But I always said to you, we can't harm or hurt anyone. We can have whatever we want, but we can't harm other people. And I feel that this whole thing with the Bumble thing and other stuff like that, I think it's great. But to me, I'm not an application person that wants a date on an app. I think that a lot of people on the apps, they lie. And they basically lie because they feel that, they're able to do that very well, and they're looking for a one-night stand. That's all they want. You can say you want a relationship, and they'll say yes, but then that's really not their goal. Last topic I want to cover tonight, ladies and gentlemen, it is that Apple rushes to fix an alarming iPhone issue affecting user alarms. So what happened with Apple and the alarm issue that was broke? Well, this is an interesting one. If your iPhone alarm has gone quiet, Apple says it's working on a fix. Yeah, it's working on a fix, right? So Apple says it's working on a fix for an issue that's causing some iPhone owners' alarms to trigger silently. And this is according to the Today Show about the issue, and they've been spreading on social media and many other platforms. It's not clear how widespread it is. I haven't experienced this, but it is happening a lot of different places. One thing is to make sure that the ringtones and alert volume slider under settings, sound and haptics is turned up. It can be easily toggled to accidentally turn down your alarm's volume if you've changed with any of the buttons, toggle beneath, or put your phone into do not disturb mode. So I think that's very, very important. And this is a big concern. So the question is, did Apple fix the bug with the alarm not going off? So to be truthful with you, as of May 1st, Apple's working on it, but they still do not have a fix yet. That'll probably come out in the next iOS update. Apparently, they don't see this as something that imperative. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who I am by now, let me introduce myself. I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, and I am the host of the JMOR Tech Talk Show, a weekly technology show that brings you key insights about technology. So all week, I have different reels that pop out, usually about a minute or less. And then on the show, I go in a lot deeper where I drill down to more specifics. Be sure to check out believemeachieve.com. Go to that QR code. I know you will really love it. And once you do, you know you'll thank me, and it will improve the quality of your life. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to please go ahead and like, love, support all my channels, and definitely follow me on TikTok, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? And I'll see you real soon. Have yourself a fantastic, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your weekend. And I'm going to catch you next week, May 17th, for another issue of the JMOR Tech Talk Show. Incidentally, ladies and gentlemen, if you have someone you think that's a great guest for the JMOR Tech Talk Show, really easy to apply. All you need to do, you can simply go to go.oncehub.com, and you can just go to JMOR Tech Talk Show guest, and basically pick a 15 or 20 minute spot with me. And once you do that, we'll see if you're a good fit. So it's go.oncehub.com/JMOR Tech, TECHTALK, show guest. Once you do that, you'll get to meet with me. If we think it's a good fit, we'll send you a media release, and we will go from there. Remember, 24 hours within every video cast that I do, it transfers into a podcast. Right around that time, it also goes out to public educational government TV, and it also goes out to national radio. So love you having you here, and thank you so much for supporting and following my content, and hoping that it makes your life not only a little better, but of course, a little bit safer for you and your loved ones. So have yourself a fantastic rest of your week, and I'll catch you next